Thank you all for doing that, because that's almost $100,000 a month that we've been doing. A lot of money has been coming in. The PayPals have been coming in. The checks, the money orders have been coming in. But the goal is not $200,000. The goal is $2 million. So when you go home tonight, I want every one of you to go to the website for the fundraiser, drumarjohnsonschool.com. Most of you know my personal website, drumarjohnson.com. But this is drumarjohnsonschool.com. And whatever you can give, you give. I simply ask one thing. Give me no less than you're giving to other people who are robbing the black community blind. Give me no less than you give to the corner store. Give me no less than you give to the supermarket. Give me no less than you give to the Korean-owned hair care industry. Give me no less than you give the auto manufacturer. That's all I'm asking. But sisters, if you're spending $100 on hair, I better get $200. Brothers, if you're spending $100 on a new pair of sneakers every month, I better get $200. Our boys are under attack, and so are our girls. Obama's not going to save us. Sharpton and Jesse can't save us. We have to save ourselves. Some people said, why not a charter school? What's all this Karbi stuff? Just go and get a charter school. The reason I'm not settling for a charter school, although I recently accepted an offer to be president of a charter school in Pennsylvania, which I'll start on Monday, a decision that took me a while to make, because one, I know what they're using them schools for, and two, I knew it would cut down on my ability to travel. However, as long as our children are in them schools, some of us have to be in there to protect them. And that's why I accepted the job until we raise enough money so we have our own independent school. Be careful with charter schools in South Florida. Charter schools are coming to South Florida to push you out of your neighborhood. Charter schools are the new face of ethnic cleansing and gentrification. Let me explain to you what I'm talking about. Let's say they target a certain section of Fort Lauderdale for black removal. The best way to move the blacks out is to open up a charter school and make them think this school is for their children. When you open up the school, you're going to hire teachers, 50 to 100 staff. Most of those teachers are going to be white female. You're going to hire staff and non-instructional faculty. Many of them are going to be something other than African. And they're going to move into Fort Lauderdale so they can live close to where they work. And so in about 5 years from now, the school you thought was for black children ended up being for someone else's children. Because when all those teachers moved into your neighborhood, they raised up the property value just enough so you won't be able to afford it. Charter schools are not a solution. Public schools are not a solution. The Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey taught us that the responsibility of educating our children is our own. When the war took place to force black history into public schools, I was not a supporter of the movement. And I differed with many of our African-centered scholars on this point. They said, Dr. Umar, why aren't you supporting the movement to put black history in the schools? Our children have a right to know who they are like everyone else. I agree with that, but I disagree with you asking middle-class white females to interpret your children's historical memory. If African children are to be taught who they are, it should be done by their own people. It's true. There's certain things we can only get from the system. It's true. There's certain wars that must be waged with the school district and the city government and the feds. But there's a lot of things that we are responsible for that we can fix on our own. And no solution is a solution if it gives the same person who created your problems the power to fix them. We celebrate 127 years of the greatest black leader of the 20th century and one of the greatest of all time. In the spirit of Marcus Garvey, we're going to buy that St. Paul's College. And we're going to buy it because it has everything we need to give our boys and our girls the type of education that they need. They have a state-of-the-art gymnasium, state-of-the-art student center with a bowling alley in it, 137 acres, most of it unused. They have the dormitories. They have the infirmary. They have the lecture halls. They have the administrative center. St. Paul's would be perfect for the Fred Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy because it's small enough for us to manage it. It's small enough to keep the operating expenses controllable, but large enough to get the job done. You say, Dr. Johnson, what are you going to do different? We got a lot of black schools out here. We got a lot of black independent schools. We got home schools. Why do we need your school? I'll tell you why. Because 9 out of every 10 schools in this country, in this world, where our children learn, including many of the Afrocentrics, are only doing a better job of preparing your child to work for white people. None of them are preparing our children to work for themselves. They are preparing them to go to college so they can spend $100,000 studying Shakespeare and Macbeth, only to graduate 4 years later with a bachelor's degree that doesn't equal a livable wage employment opportunity. Sending our children to college as a rite of passage has failed us. There's 2 million Africans in America right now with master's degrees who can't find a job. Our children don't necessarily need college. But in my school, in our school, for those who want to be things that require college, doctor, lawyer, engineer, educator, psychologist, there's dozens of professions that require degree because they're legally regulated. You need a license or certification. But not every African child wants to be a medical doctor. Not every African child wants to be a lawyer. So for those who are not interested in lifestyles that require a degree, why do we send them to college anyway? And they come back in debt. They can't find a job, and the world tells them the reason you didn't get hired is because you don't have enough education. So they go back and get a master's degree, come out, look for a job, can't find one. The world says you need more. So they go and get a second master's, come out, can't find a job, and the world says you need more. You're not qualified enough. With 2 masters. He goes back, she goes back, get a doctorate, comes back. Now they overqualify. To only prepare our children for college is to fail them because college is not preparing them for life. So what are the 6 subjects we're going to teach at the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey RBG International Leadership Academy? Number 1, agricultural and agronomical science. We're going to teach our children the science of the soil, how to grow, how to eat, but also the economics of food because agribusiness is the second largest industry on the planet. The science of growing and killing people with food is the second largest business on the planet. So they're not just being taught to grow crops so they can sustain life. That's most important, but also as a way of life. In order to graduate from our school, your child needs to be able to grow 6 fruit, 6 vegetable on their own, no help, not outside, but in the house. We're going to teach our children physical and dietary and nutritional science. Every one of them will be a master herbologist. Every one of them will be a master chemist of naturopathic medicine. Imagine a Dr. Sabi at 6. Imagine a Scott Whitaker at 8. Imagine a Laila Africa at 10. That's why we need the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey. And then we're going to teach them about Black America's #1 Achilles heel. And that is our lack of financial wisdom. The third curriculum will be financial and economic science. Why? Because we are money illiterate. Black people make all the degrees and white folk make all the money. So by the time they finish 9th grade, they will know how to do their own taxes at 14 years old. By the time they finish the 10th grade at 15, they will have their own business plan. By the time they finish the 11th grade, they will be a master of international stocks and trades. Not just the New York Stock Exchange, but what about the one in China, South Africa, and Nigeria? So while everyone else is sending their child to college, spending $100,000 to learn about white supremacy, our children will be making their first $1 million out of high school. You don't need college in order to make it. The top 1% richest people in America control more wealth than the bottom 50%. And half of them didn't go to college. The laws of money will benefit our children infinitely more than a college degree. Our children will be taught political and military science. This is important. For example, last week, President Obama invited 50 African heads of state to Washington, D.C. for a 3-day conference. I was in Ghana at the start of that. No, actually, I got back the day before, August the 3rd. The conference started on Monday the 4th. Was it a coincidence that while all the heads of state from Africa, except Mugabe, who wasn't invited, while they was in D.C. dining with the president, it just so happens that an Ebola outbreak took place.
I've been saying that.
Do you realize that was strategy? They didn't bring them to D.C. to talk about how they can work together. D.C., the reason Africa in the condition she is now. So we're going to invite all the presidents over, leave the continent leaderless, and then we're going to send in the World Health Organization and other so-called medical agents by the U.S. and UN. And while we got all the African heads of state occupied with lies of economic support, we're going to depopulate the continent with our latest strain of Ebola. And if you haven't done your research, you better do it on AIDS and Ebola. Both of those diseases were created in Fort Detrick, Maryland at the United States Army Bioweapons Lab. They are man-made diseases created for one reason: to depopulate the world, and particularly Africa and America, of African people. Why did they kill our brother in Ferguson? Why did they take Trayvon? Why are they killing 2 black boys every week for the last 6 years? Why? Zero population growth. The goal is to get to a point not to exterminate every African outright with a gun, because then it's obvious who did the killing. You just want to get Africans to zero population growth. What is zero population growth? That means they want more African lives every year than are born. If anyone has ever studied sociology, population, zero population growth is when a certain population is losing more lives a year than are being born. Certain sources are indicating that Africans in America aren't too far from zero population growth. They said abortion in some states is killing more black life than homicide. Women of African descent in America have aborted over 3 million babies since 1976. 3 million. That's interesting, isn't it? Because we talk about brothers killing brothers, but what about parents killing their babies? Brothers and sisters, we in the middle of a war, and Garveyism has the solution.